Good evening, Transylvanians, and welcome to this special double feature episode of Toast Talks, a show where Toast talks. My name is Toast, and today we're going to be reviewing episodes 7 and 8 of the Boulet Brothers Dragula Titans 2, the Boulet Brothers horror picture show, and supervillains. You know, I think I could give like a better supervillain laugh if it wasn't like almost 1 a.m. I'm not as villainous as I could be because I could be up here rat-tat-tat-ing and making my neighbors go like, ooh la la la. So the look that I'm giving today, you've seen it if you have seen my channel icon. And you've also seen it if you've seen any of my other reviews, because this is my lovely Toast look that was made into an avatar by the lovely Dasa Studios. And yeah, this is the look for today. I felt like it worked for both the supervillain challenge because this is me in my supervillain form, honey. It's like very like Sailor Moon anime kind of villain. Like if the toast, the bag of bread, like turned into a thing, turned into a monster, and was just like spraying mold everywhere. It was like, psst. That would be me, the black mold, honey. Hello. And I felt like it also worked for the Rocky Horror Challenge because first of all, I've got my pearls. And second of all, I don't know too much about the screenings that they do for Rocky, but I know that they like throw toast at the screen. And so this is my homage to that as well. Slay Pussy Boots. Yeah, honestly, I'm just so excited to get to the reunion. So I'm combining episodes 7 and 8 so that I can get to the reunion faster. And that's just the real tea of the situation. So it's gonna be a long episode. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and without further ado, let's get into these episodes. So at the top of episode 7, the Boulets come in and they are like, musicals. I love that. Specifically, Drac is just so petty about it. He's like, oh, y'all wanted a twist, eh? You hated it? Well, guess what? You're gonna hate it again. I also want to point out something that I had talked about in the last couple of intros, which is the rug. And, you know, he makes another reappearance, and I forget which episode of the Boulets podcast it was on, but on one of the episodes, they had a fan question and somebody actually asked them about the rug. And the rug's name is simply Rug. Obsessed. Honestly, couldn't have asked for a better name myself. So the ghouls come back into the lab, and the main thing I want to note here is that Jaharia seemed really gooped when Cynthia came back. Like, she really did not believe in her sister. Like, it was just really funny. She was like, oh. It was really good. Also during this part, Sigourney and Jay start fighting a little more. And, you know, Jaharia and Abora chime in too. They're like, finally calling her out about saying things like, you know, well, your funeral, well, I guess it's gonna be you on the chopping block next. And so I thought that was really nice to see. I'm happy that people are like finally being like, no, Sigourney, like you're kind of acting a little strange too. And so they get called over to announce the challenge, and you know, it's a reprise of the musical challenge from season 6. They really said, the rat house fever, honey, we got it. The snake pit, honey, we want to be there. And this time they're paying homage to one of the inspirations behind Dragula, at least the logo at least, Rocky Horror Picture Show. And they're doing the Boulet Brothers Horror Picture Show. And you know what? I've got to say, I'm not like the biggest Rocky Horror fan. Like, I only just recently watched it for the first time, I think either this year or last. And so I think a lot of the references, like, I sort of got it. It was very on brand, both with Dragula and with the horror picture show. But, you know, even with that, all things considered, like, I thought that this challenge was very interesting. I think the first time I watched it, I kind of hated it. And then upon subsequent watches, I sort of grew to love it. So that's just sort of where we're at with it. So then we get some creatives from the ghouls, and you know, they're talking about their looks. I love seeing all the different looks this time around, and the sketches were like really cool. Then they show us some of the rehearsals, and they're rehearsing in the lab, but like, I know for a fact that this was just like their first rehearsal, like just after they got the script, right? And then they also, I know that they had to have had a rehearsal on the stage for all of that blocking that they did. And I kind of wish that they would have shown us that a little bit, because I feel like that would have been cool to see. They also say in the challenge issuing that they're gonna be doing live vocals. I mean, they did sing like in the studio, obviously, but I don't know. I didn't see any headset mics. I didn't see anything like that. I saw a lot of lip syncing. So I don't know. I feel like it's a little misleading to say that they're doing live vocals. They could just say, oh, we're going to record you in a studio for the official soundtrack or whatever. Like the official cast recording. Like there's a way that they could do it. And then we get this moment where they're sitting down. They're like clearly seeing the script for the first time. So I thought that that was interesting too, because they kind of show us things out of order. So they show us the rehearsal, and then they show us this next scene where they're like sort of talking about the script, and then they sort of like get into a little bit of just like drama again. Like JK and Jaharia are just trying to get into Eva's head because they know that this is like her thing. And so they just kind of squabble about that for a little bit. And, you know, Abora's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like anything that we do here, it doesn't matter. What matters is when you get on that fucking stage and what you do on that stage. Period. There was no drama really in the makeup segment this week, so I won't touch too much on it, but it was really good to see them talk a little more about like the techniques and stuff that they were doing. I always love seeing that kind of stuff. Lights, camera, action. So then we get to the runway, and the Boulets come out looking soft, demure, beautiful. They're also repping the bat necklace again. Love my sustainable queens. I'm like, let's go. So the guest judges this week were Darren Stein and Peaches Christ. I thought they were fabulous, and honestly, anytime that I get to see Peaches on my screen, I'm, you know, thrilled. So loved seeing her. You know you want this sexy, sexy, sexy. You know you want this sexy, 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 sexy. So let's get into these looks. So let's dive in. First up is Abora, and I love this look. I feel like this is like her giving us hot, wet, sexy glamour. Love the short, wet hair. I think she's, you know, being vulnerable and going without her nose. Love to see that. And, you know, I think the outfit is hot. I think it's cool. So next up is Jaharia. And oh my God, y'all, she looks so hot in this look. I love, you know, the short finger wave, and the dress is like really cool. She like has this boning in it that she like pulls out, and the dress just falls off of her body. And she's got this like shimmery lingerie underneath. I thought this was so good. I think she looks really hot. So then Jay comes out next as like a solid gold Rocky, which I thought this was commendable just for the stupidity alone. But the shoe breaking, now that was like peak camp, peak just like absolute buffoonery. And I also have to say, the rhinestoned nipple, that was the cherry on top. Loved it. So next up is Sigourney, and she's, you know, wearing this like black trench coat, which she takes off to reveal this like shimmery lingerie kind of thing as well, kind of similar to what Jaharia had on. I thought that this was like the most Frankenfurter like of the makeups tonight that we got to see, and I really, really enjoyed that. But I don't know, the Boulets mentioned this in their critiques, and it's something that I felt too. It's something that we've kind of seen from her before. We got to see that white trench coat look from her in the finale of her season, and so for me, I'm just like, okay, so I don't know. It's just kind of like the thing that we've seen before. So I think she looks good, but I wasn't wowed. It wasn't taking me to a new place. But I think she looks good. So Cynthia Dahl comes out next, and she is also giving us like a mad scientist look. Like the look is a lot. Like there is a lot going on. It's very like over-designed, but I do love maximalism, so a lot of the elements are working for me. I think, you know, like I love the gloves, the electrode things coming out of it, the weird bulb genitals. Obsessed, love all of that. I feel like there are some elements that for me that kind of confuse the vision, like the shoes with like the lacy thing. I didn't really understand that. That was giving me like cat girl maid vibes. Like it didn't really feel like it fit in the world of what she was presenting. But overall, I don't know. She made me feel something, and if you're making me feel something, honey, I love it. So closing us out is Eva Destruction, and she is just giving us a Killer Clowns from Outer Space look. Like that is what it is. But with that being said, I love it, and I'm obsessed with it. And all of the little details are so good, as we have come to expect from Eva. Just the fabric choice, the color, and the coat, you guys. That coat was so pussy. And I loved all the tricks that she did too. Those were really fun. I just didn't feel like it 100% gave Rocky Horror. But I don't know. Who am I to say that when JK literally came out as Rocky Balboa? I don't know. I don't know. So my thoughts on the challenge are as follows. I think that the Blood Moon Fang Bangers, all of the vampires, I think that the three of them did amazing. As a trio, they were each kind of bringing their own flavor to it, and I thought that was really cool to see each of them have like their own character that kind of complemented each other really well. Jaharia and Eva absolutely slayed it with the vocals. They both sounded incredible. And on a whole, I think this is like a huge improvement from the last musical. Yeah, just there were so many good things about it, but there were some things that were a little cheese town, even for like a musical. I know some of the humor I think just wasn't 100% landing for me. I did really love the resurrection. That was really, really good. Yeah, I don't know. I thought everyone's performances were pretty stellar, and I loved having it be like a nod to Rocky Horror. I thought that was a really cool touch. I think it just makes a lot of sense for the Dragula universe. Again, it's like kind of where they got the inspiration for the logo, at least. I think if I had a critique, it's just like, wish that they maybe had a little bit more like set design, just like things like that to help me like bring us into the world, to help bring us into the world a little bit more. But you know, it's a fabulous, fabulous improvement from where we were at with the snake pit and the rat house. So, you know, I'll take it. I'll take it. Blood moon, bang, bang, baby, let's go. You guys, should I go on TikTok like this? Guys, I posted like one video on TikTok, but with the amount that I dance like this, like I feel like I would be really good at making those TikTok videos that are like, my mom died. Come with me to her funeral. Just food for thought. Just food for thought. So we get to the judging, and the tops this week are Eva, Jay, and Abora. Or no, wait, I'm lying. So we get to the judging, and the tops this week are Eva, Jaharia, and JK. Eva obviously just like stole the whole show. Like it was really just Eva's challenge to win. Jaharia and Jay, they both were really giving her a run for her money though, because yeah, Jay's character was like super impressive, like all the work that he did on that. And just all the movements and all of the different isms that he gave the character, I thought it was great. And Jaharia too, she was slaying it with the vocals. Again, she looked really hot. I just thought she had like a confidence and an aura that was really powerful too. But that being said, Eva snags the win this week. Shocking, again, no one. And the gag of the motherfucking season of the motherfucking century. And so the Boulets reveal that this week, the winner gets the power of the sonic transducer, immediately evaporating a competitor from the competition. Girl transducer, I hardly know her.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
No, but this was a gag, you guys. Like, they've never given any one competitor, like outright, the power to just eliminate someone like that. And it's crazy that they gave it to sweet, sweet Eva of all people. That poor, poor girl. It's very dastardly of them. So then we get to the cauldron, and oh my God, y'all, we are so back. We are so back. We're so back. We're back. We're back. The drama was on hold, but now it's back. They come in, Jay puts his drink in his broken platform heel, and he sets it on the table and just immediately spills it. Thought that that was hilarious. And so then everyone's pleading their case on why they should stay, which, you know, they do this often in the Cauldron, but this is like the first time that it's actually relevant. And the way that they set this up was so good, y'all. Like, everyone was sitting on the couches on either side of Eva. She was just sitting in the center on the lone chair. So good. Just the framing of it and everything. So Jay starts to talk, and they go around. And then we get to Sigourney, and that is when things start to take a turn. Now, I suspect that this happened in a different order than we see it, because in some of the shots where Sigourney's talking, we don't see Jay's drink spilled on the table. And there are definitely other shots where it's like there, it's not there. And I need to look into this a little bit more because this inconsistency was something that I just noticed today. And so it's like, I don't really know all the tea about it. But I imagine that they maybe went counterclockwise instead of going clockwise. And so all of the drama happened up top. That's at least my suspicion. But either way, I just always think it's interesting when they show us clips out of order. I'm always just like, okay, so things are never what they actually appear like. So then we get to Sigourney, and that's when things really start to take a turn. She says, "Is this really how you want to send a girl home?" Uh-oh. She's back on her bullshit. And then she's like, "Don't forget about the pact we made," which Jay comes in confessional and explains. And apparently, like, Sigourney just ran up to Abora and Eva and were like, "Final three?" And they said nothing. And that's not a pact, really. And then she also says, she's like, "I could see a future where we have a lot of success together. So do you want me as a friend or an enemy?" Oh. Like, girl, you were supposed to be pleading your case, not like plotting her murder. Like, what is going on? This is the type of shit that I live for. Like, it's so messy. Like, Sigourney is just like obviously stressed and playing the victim, and also like, you know, just guilt tripping and gaslighting. Honestly, it's kind of wild to watch. These Cauldron scenes, they are like Shakespeare to me. Like, this shit is like biblical. It's crazy. What's killing me even more is like everyone's reactions during all of this. Like, there are some really great reaction shots. I'll try to screen grab them and show y'all. And then Sigourney says, you know, she's had someone try to get her sent home almost every episode. And, you know, it cuts to Jay playing like an air violin. And he's like, "Oh, poor baby." You know, and then just a lot of other stuff happens. Oh my God. You guys, in my script for this episode, I literally have it written down, parentheses, other stuff happens, revisit. I guess Sister didn't revisit that. But, so basically, the girls are fighting in the Cauldron. The girls are fighting. And, oh, I mean, I remember what happened now. Then Sigourney says, you know, nobody has had the experiences that I've had. And, you know, I've worked for a really long time to be here. And Cynthia chimes in and she's like, well, I think we could all say that about, you know, our own experiences. Then Sigourney's like, well, nobody's been denied working somewhere because of their body. And then Jaharia chimes in and she's like, oh, no, absolutely, sweetheart. I've been denied working somewhere because of the color of my skin. I love that Jaharia said this too. She's like, yeah, I could sit here and say, like, yes, I deserve to stay because I'm a Black alternative artist. But she's also like, show me more. Show me more. Like, what is it other than, you know, being discriminated against that makes you a fierce competitor and someone who should stay here? I thought that was just so poignant. And I love Jaharia for calling her in on that. She was fighting to stay in a way that was just not productive. So yeah, the Cauldron this week, back to form, back to drama. Love it. So then we go back to the main stage and there's all this fanfare. Who is Eva gonna pick? And Eva evaporates Sigourney Beaver. Oh, dun, dun, dun. And whew, she's gone, honey, just like that. This was such a gag. Such a gag. I was like screaming when this first happened, y'all. Like, Eva did that. Eva motherfucking did that, honey. It was so, so good. Just like peak reality television, honestly. Especially considering from the story arc that we got at the beginning to now. It's just like, girl, like it was giving. 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 And so then we get to the Hellbound showdown for this week, and it is Priscilla Chambers versus Blackberry. And y'all, I literally can't even show you their looks really all that well if I want to appease the YouTube gods and not get my video restricted. But let's just say there's a lot of phallic things going on, and there maybe were some pelvic thrusts in this performance, and they maybe drove me a little and say yay, 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 yay. And so yeah, that's a time warp that I would like to do again. This was a really, really wild showdown, y'all. They were both really giving us a lot of sexual energy, a lot of that going on, a lot of sucking dick and cock, and you did it at my birthday dinner. Blackberry, she kind of slayed it. She had her water gun. She was rat-tat-tat-tying. I think she was serving it up. And I think what ended up doing Priscilla in was that she had like a prop malfunction with her piece. I also have to say too, as a T girl, that is just very funny. That is just very funny to lose a competition because your dick didn't work. Been there. I just want to take a second to say thank you so much for watching. I know that I'm maybe not releasing things on the traditional schedule, maybe, but y'all have been continuing to tune in, and that means so, so much to me. So thank you all for being here. And yeah, so with that, let's move on to episode 8. You know I'm sexy, sexy, wanna buy me Pepsi, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just letting the spirit of dance take me. See, okay, honestly though, I don't know why, but to me the makeup is kind of still giving Tim Curry tonight. Rotted and a little bit crossy. Really drives you insane. Let's do the time warp again. Girl, this is too much. The Boulets start this episode out in, a different outfit. They actually start that intro in like these secretary outfits, and they give us their best Wonder Woman, and they do a little twirl, and they're whoosh in their bat outfits. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really cool homage to Wonder Woman. Then they come back into the lab, and they're all talking about, what happened last week, and they're talking about Sigourney and how she was, kind of manipulative when she was pleading her case. And then Cynthia has this moment where she starts questioning Abora, and she's like, are we gonna see something new today? Which I just thought was interesting. I'm like, it's a little foreshadowing to something we'll see a bit later from her, but Cynthia's maybe starting to lash out at Abora because she, maybe isn't feeling so good about her own place in the competition. At least that's how I see it. So then we get to the challenge, and it is a reprise of the Supervillains challenge from season 3, Obsessed. Love it. And this week we get a good amount of creatives. I love that, as the cast dwindles and as there's less things to talk about, we get more creatives. I love seeing how these bitches make stuff. So Cynthia's talking about her look, and all I have to say is, ay. They also cut to this shot of her just drawing eyes in her notebook. Girl, what the fuck was that for? I thought that was so funny. Like, it's just one of those like B-roll shots. They were like, oh, quick, let me just get this shot of you drawing an eye. Then during Jaharia's creatives, Abora straight up like interrupts her with a power drill, which I just thought was an interesting moment. Like, she was like, shut up, Abora, I'm filming creatives. Yeah, just like wild. And then it cuts to this whole like side segment, and Abora has like fully lost it. She's, making a fort in the lab out of like bubble wrap and this satin fabric. She's like zip tied her head, he like brings a mannequin over and, you know, he even like breaks one of the photos on the wall. You guys, that fucking sent me. Oh my God, I was screaming. I, for one, absolutely live for the chaos. Anarchy now. But yeah, it like fully derails Jaharia's moment for a second. And then she has to be like, excuse me. And so they go back into it. And then it cuts to them doing their makeup. And, you know, they all just look like they're having so much fun. They've reached the point of the season where they all have just lost their minds. And so they're just like running around like feral animals. It's great. I love it. I wish that we could just have more of this in life. We need our feral animal time, you know? And I also have to say, I love the moment with Eva and Abora, and Eva like blowing powder in her face and knocking her off of the thing. You know, they're all kind of like talking about their powers or whatever, and Cynthia's explaining that she would just give them like a look. And then they have this cute little moment, and there's this shot of like Eva just like dying, just like, dying from the glare. And that is a meme. Like, if that isn't a meme, it needs to be a GIF like yesterday. If it's not a GIF already, it needs to be a GIF like yesterday. Like, because that is so good. It's so good, you guys. Just you know, it's so good, so good. And y'all, we see a sight for sore eyes as Cynthia hits her vape as the alarm sounds, and she does this bit where she like uses her vape as a phone and she's like calling all the supervillains. And so with that is smoke shot number 11. Ding! And so on the runway this episode, the Boulets come out in their supervillain looks. I love that they do the challenges alongside the ghouls. That's really, it really warms my heart. Because not every judge would do that. Not every judge would do that, but the Boulets do that. I love these looks. They're super simple, super clean. It's giving me like 1960s Spider-Man kind of vibes mixed with like their world and the black and the red. I think they look stunning. And I loved that shot of Swan crawling on the floor. That really sent me. So our guest judges this week are Tard McFarlane. Our guest judges this week are Tard McFarlane and Steve Orlando. Thank you very much. Our guest judges. So our guest judges this week are Okay, you guys. Okay. Lock in, girl. Lock in. So the guest judges this week are Todd McFarlane and Steve Orlando. Ta-da! I thought they were great. I don't really have too much to say. I thought they gave pretty insightful critiques, and yeah, they were very knowledgeable about their craft, obviously.
Okay, so the Boulets actually didn't post the photos from this challenge. Normally they're really good about posting the cast photos, but for some reason they only posted Eva's photos from this challenge. So I actually had my friend, Garage Refrigerator, just draw up some quick little sketches of the looks so that we can get a sense of what is going on. Huge shout out to my man, Gary Fridge, for helping me out with that.
So first up is Eva Destruction, and she is giving us the mother of her supervillain character from season 3. I love this look. She looks incredible. She kind of looks like if Shigo from Kim Possible had like a spooky mega evolution. The details on the armor are incredible, like the scepter with the skull and the fog coming out of it was so fierce. Yeah, I thought that Eva did a great job. So next up is JK giving us this roach fantasy, and I love this. The makeup is incredible. Jay always has really incredible makeup. I love the braided like front ponytails as the antennae. I thought that was so fierce. And the removable limbs as like nunchucks or like little boomerangs. It was such a clever idea, and I loved that. My only critique really is that I felt like the bodysuit itself could have benefited maybe from little distressing or shading here and there. Maybe the cape could have been a little longer. But you know, those are minor things really. Like overall, I thought Jay looked like super roachy, super fierce. So next up is Jaharia, and she's giving us like herself, the Joker, Toxic by Britney Spears. Yeah, this is tough because I think that if it wasn't a competition, I'd say she looks good. You know, like I love like the cuffs on the, you know, arms and the leg pieces really cool, like the little boot cover is really cool. And I love that green frohawk. That's also really stunning. And I think that her makeup looks incredible. I do think it's a little like understated compared to what some of the other ghouls have brought. And I think the look just doesn't tell me too much about who her supervillain is. Like, I think she could have benefited from like a supervillain symbol or like a fierce weapon. Yeah, just like little details to show us what this character's about. Yeah, I don't know though. That green fro with like the clown makeup, like from the neck up, it's giving like a really, really solid Joker. She could have gone like that direction with it and just like fully committed. Would have been really fierce. But this is what we got. Also, something I feel like is relevant to mention is that for this floor show, they do these like comic book style split screen shots, and they show everyone's looks side by side, which I thought was really interesting. I thought it was a cool touch, but it just inherently means that like the people later in the lineup get less screen time, which I think is a little bit of an unfortunate side effect of that, but I thought it was a really cool effect overall. And I think I also want to mention this too. I think that this season, they've been doing a really, really good job of like showcasing the looks. Like, I feel like that has been a critique of mine in the past, is that some of these older seasons of Dragula, they loved doing crazy shit with the camera, and they would show us the look for like 0.5 seconds, and then I feel like we wouldn't really get a good sense of it. But I feel like this season, they're doing a really, really stellar job of like showcasing the look. So next up is Cynthia Doll, and I love this look. I love that all the eyes look blood-stained with the veins showing. I think the silhouette is cool. I like that it's head to toe. And although I do appreciate that she took her eye off to show her makeup and stuff, I almost wish she would have kept the eye on it. It was just a really fierce look with just the eye and just like her stomping it like that. But yeah, I thought she looked fierce. And as always, I love that she's like never afraid to push herself into doing things that she maybe wouldn't normally do. And I think it makes her a really versatile drag artist. You guys, I open the window. Sue me. Sue me. Sue me. Sue me. Sue me. Okay, great. And we continue onwards into this good night. And so last out is Abora, or should I say Aboro, or should I say Bizarro, or should I say Superman, or should I say, I do like this look a lot. I do like this look. The hair and makeup is wild. I love that she's getting good use out of these stilts, girl. And you know, the bit where she's like kicking his legs up, I thought that was really hilarious. And you know, somehow I thought that the shit that she was doing in the lab would somehow tie into this look, but truly, what the fuck was going on? Like, truly, what was she doing? Like, there's method, and then there's whatever Abora's doing. Anyways, that aside, I thought Abora looked really cool. And, you know, aside from, like, some of the little mishaps, like the hole in her pants for the stilts, you know, I thought she looked good, if not a little derivative. So during the judging, they loved Eva and JK, and they sort of had mixed critiques for everybody else. And so Eva takes the win this week, and like, yeah, like she objectively looked the best. Like, she looked really fucking good, you guys. I don't know, it was just clean. It was really well detailed, and the package has just been really good with Eva. I will say, my hot take though is that Cynthia did not do as bad as I think maybe she got critiqued for. Like, personally, Cynthia's look was one of my favorites. Like, I really liked Cynthia's look. I feel like it was definitely one of my favorites. And if we're talking about something that could like rival Eva's look, just like the red versus the green, I thought it was a really strong contrast. And I just, yeah, I think that Cynthia could have been up there for me too, IMO. And so then the Boulets announced that everyone else is going to be standing at the gallows. So that means that 2 people are gonna go home. And so then we get to the cauldron. And this week's cauldron was interesting. Jay comes in crying right off the bat. Jay is like super emotional towards the end of this episode. And like, I kind of love to see it. Much like Eva, I love a sensitive ghoul. Love a sensitive soul. But I also love that it like cut to Avora and she's just like, she's like making fun of her for crying. She's like, I just thought that was so funny. And so they're, you know, all pleading their cases. It's giving me like a little bit of deja vu from last week, because like it's set up the same way, where Eva's sitting in the center and they're, you know, on the sides, on the couches, and they're all pleading their case except for Eva because she won. So it's just very much giving me a little bit of deja vu from last week. Except this week, you know, she's not gonna be, you know, sending one of these bitches packing. And then Cynthia starts coming for Abora again, and she's like, yeah, I just don't see it for you. What the fuck? I just don't see it for you. Anyways, so then Abora's like, you really want to attack me right now? She's taking a page from Sigourney's book with that one. She said, are you sure about that? She said, do you really want to She said, are you sure about that? Do you really want to attack me right now? And then Cynthia just kind of spirals. She's like, oh, I don't know. It's getting really cutthroat. And da 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 da. Abora's like, yeah, I don't know. This just kind of hurts. And, you know, you don't have to do that. And Jaharia calls her out and is like, yeah, like you really don't need to put other people down to plead your case, which I think is like a thing that they have really like kind of honed in on this season. Like I feel like in the past, you know, we have had all manner of fights in Dragula, but now I feel like some of the competitors are really starting to value having a sense of integrity. And if you are gonna fight, fighting with dignity and fighting the right way. So Jaharia's like, yeah, girl, like it's just not very becoming behavior of a winner. And then Cynthia's like, well, what would you want me to do? I pled my case. And then Jaharia was like, stop talking. That whole interaction, you guys. And then Cynthia just like folds like a lawn chair. She's just like, okay. So good, you guys. And like, I really feel for Cynthia here. Like, I know that she's just down bad and she's taken low swings because she's nervous. But it's just one of those moments where it's like, you know, you took those swings and you missed, honey. It happens, you know? After that juicy cauldron, then, you know, they go back to the main stage. They send them up to the gallows 2 at a time. And the first pair that goes up is JK and Cynthia. And when they announce the two of them, you can just tell that Jay is just gutted. Jay is just absolutely gutted. And so they go up there and Cynthia drops. And Jay just breaks down and starts sobbing, which I was really sad about this, honestly. I was hoping that we would get to see a Cynthia Doll finale. And then they send up the second pair, and it's Abora and Jaharia. Abora's like, in confessional, she's like, you know, I've been up to the gallows 4 times, but this is the first time that I've not been nervous. Damn. She said, bye, Jaharia. Yeah, and so Jaharia drops, and again, super sad because Jaharia was like kind of killing it this season. Like, I love seeing this arc from Jaharia. I think that her drag has just had such a big growth. It's just a little, you know, a little unfortunate to see her go out like that. And so Eva Destruction, JK, and Abora are the final 3. But they obviously, you know, have the 4th ghoul from the showdown, which they don't know about yet. Shh. They announced that they're going to have to prepare for the finale floor show, and they're going to have to prepare 4 looks inspired by the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which is a big change for them. Normally, it's just the 3 tenets of filth, horror, glamour, but they added a 4th look, and they're doing another theme. I'm like totally here for this change. Love that theme. And I'm just very, very excited to see what these ghouls are gonna do. But before we get into that, there's the Hellbound showdown for this week, which is Blackberry versus Sigourney Beaver. Their looks are both really cool. I like both of their looks a lot. Blackberry's look is incredible. Very heavily inspired by this Junji Ito comic where this girl has like this weird second head. I haven't actually read the comic, but I love Junji Ito's like art and just like the whole world that he's created, and I think that this look is a very beautiful homage to it. So yeah, I think she looks cool, and I love a mace. Love a mace. And Sigourney's got this kind of time mage villain kind of going on. She's got this like flippable hourglass on her bodice. It's kind of giving me like Elvira vibes with like the hair and the silhouette. I think she looks fabulous. I think she looks cool. And she's got this like staff that she's like, you know, spinning around. I think that's really what did it for her, because she was really working it with the staff. And I think Blackberry was just a little more fumbling with the props. In the head-to-head, I think Sigourney just outperforms Blackberry just a sliver, and so she moves on to the final Hellbound showdown during the Last Supper, which we're getting a Last Supper, you guys. That's why I'm doing this combination episode, because I can't wait to get into it. Ah! And you know, I think that's all for our special double feature episode of Toast Talks, the show where Toast talks. Join us next time where we are going to be getting into the Last Supper, y'all. Eee! Let me just say, it's about to over-deliver, honey. We're about to get into it. Now, if you made it to the end of this video, first of all, thank you so much. Much love, light, and support to you, dear viewer. But yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, please feel free to leave a like. Let me know your thoughts about the episodes, and let me know how stunningly gorgeous I am in the comments down below. And hey, you know, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss this sexy slice of bread, honey. Eating it up every time. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a delicious rest of your day. Stay toasty, everyone. Mwah. Are you bread E for me? Yeah, so the look that I'm giving today, you might have seen it. If you see, oh my God, my lash is literally coming. You guys, oh my God, oh my gosh, girl, this lash is about to jump like that man in 9/11. That was terrible. I'm going to hell for that one. Just kidding. I don't believe in hell.